Well, howdy ho, neighbors. Let's You know what? Winter can go away. Good morning, Boris. Howdy, sir. In case y'all are wondering, I'm trying to figure, should I smoke broken Scotch cake or a black market? Black markets are easier. Yeah, Boris, Mike sent me all that boxes of stuff, but he said, before I start using it, I better follow his instructions, and one of the instructions was, we gotta fix my face. But to do that, we're gonna have to shave for a couple of weeks, while we let all the cleaning products and moisturizers do what they're supposed to be doing. It was dead quiet out here 20 minutes ago. Now I've got some guy running a saw, some guy racing a car. This is completely insane. Improper. Yeah, so anyways, when people are nice enough to send me stuff for no reason at all, they're not asking for anything back, but they tell me, hey, look, we're going to try and help you out, and this is what we're going to do, then I will go, okay, let's do that. Can't get your humidor to go higher than 55%. It may be the flat cap. Yeah, that's happened. So the problem that you might be having is it might not have been seasoned. Now, seasoning a humidor, the easiest way to do that is to get the Bovedas that are 84% or higher. And this takes two weeks, unfortunately. You put one Boveda pack for every 20 cigars that your humidor should be able to hold. So let's say you have a 50 cigar humidor, 2 packs will do. But if you have a, let's call it 80 stick humidor, then you want to put 4 packs in. But then you close the lid and you let it sit for about 2 weeks. Now, a lot of people, they get a humidor and they don't know that they've got to season it right off at the beginning, or it's coming from somebody and they've let it sit without having any cigars in it for a long time, and they will actually unseason themselves in those situations. So I always suggest seasoning first. If it is because it hasn't been seasoned. So let's try that before we go claiming that a humidor is a piece of crap. I had one that literally destroyed about $300 worth of cigars. And it was just a 20 count humidor. Okay, so I understand your pain. But it was seasoned improperly, and it would literally dry a 69% Boveda pack out in 2 days. And it was my humidor. I'm the guy that knows cigars, so I'm like sitting here going like, damn, I screwed all this up. And it was because of me. So let me tell you how to easily do this. Go to Walmart, get yourself a 1 gallon glass jar. Call it your emergency humidor. Take your sticks, put them inside of the right, so flat cap. My thoughts are that it just wasn't seasoned properly, and it might just need that seasoning time. And until you really season the humidor that way, it's always just going to stay down at the 50s. And I mean, I tried it. I tried just using regular Bovedas and it wouldn't work. Okay, so go get the 1 gallon glass jar, fill that with your cigars, put some Boveda packs in there, close that up, use that as your, okay, I got some extra cigars, suddenly I have too many cigars. You can keep the jar, it'll be good forever. And it doesn't breathe, so it's seasoned already. You just want to make sure that it has a good seal on the lid. So I always suggest the ones that have the little crank down on the lid. I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about. But you want to get something that's big enough that you can actually put your hand in without having to turn, twist, or bind up any of your cigars. It's a whole lot easier to get them in there, lay them down, and put Boveda packs in as you need to if the jar has a big enough opening that you can actually put your whole fist in there. Speaking from experience, I've screwed up a few. So if you find that the lid doesn't accommodate your hand easily, go to the next one. But this now gives you enough time to go get the Boveda packs, the 84% Boveda packs. Use those to season your humidor. After 2 weeks, you throw those out. Until you get another humidor, you won't need them, and they will be a good chance that they will grab hold of mold or whatever before you ever get another chance to start seasoning another humidor. So and it's right there online. If you go to boveda.com, it'll show you 84% and that it's for seasoning of a humidor. That's specifically what they're made for. It's the easiest route that I've ever found. And when I worked in a cigar shop, it wasn't until the last 3 months that they actually came out with those 84s. Before that, it was 2 weeks of a brand new humidor sitting inside of the store humidor, and every day wiping that sucker down with the glycol solution, and I mean covering it 3 times a day. If you have the glycol solution, You can use a microfiber cloth, and you can wipe down the insides of your humidor 3 times a day for about 2 weeks, and that should season it. But you're going to go through a shit ton of glycol. And if you're talking about the sticks or the jars or whatever that already have the solution in them, it's just going to ruin those too. So, I mean, that's part of the whole reason why Boveda put these things out. Okay, so with 30 cigars, you're only going to need one pack, one single pack. But then use a little bit of your glycol solution and wipe down all of the surfaces, and then slam that lid shut. Put a timer on it, 2 weeks to the minute. Crack it open, load them back in, and you're good to go. I actually have a humidor that is signed by oh God. Well, the guy who signed it is the head blender for CAO. Beautiful. Can't use it because it actually was a piece of crap. But that's a different story. I always like to give the benefit of the doubt to, let's try to season it first. Now, if you've seasoned a humidor, how I'm saying, and you then cannot keep it above the at least 65%, at that point, then you were right, and the humidor just has something wrong with it. Now, in those situations, you're not getting a good airtight seal, or there is a crack somewhere on the surfaces that's allowing all of that moisture to go back out. In those situations, there's nothing you can do to fix it. But at least you'll have that damn gallon jar you can fall back on. And when I say it's a fallback plan, most gallon jars don't look exactly as pretty as your humidor. But if you arrange them properly, you can really make a nice wall of humidors out of those glass jars. I've seen it. You better have stacks of cash, because that's a lot of cigars, and you better have a real accepting wife, because she's going to figure out that that's a lot of cash hanging out on that wall to get just burnt up one of these days. But in my opinion, it's so worth it. Not a problem, Raphael. Believe me, 100%. I am here to help. I am not going to try and keep this information and try to make it look like, oh yeah, you're going to have to go to somebody who really knows about cigars. No. A bad tobacconist is going to try and make sure that you're only going to trust him. A good tobacconist teaches you about your product and about what you're doing, right or wrong, so that you can continue to do the rights and you can continue to not do the wrong. My opinion, but then again, my opinion comes from watching people cut their cigars wrong. and watching people that don't know what they're doing lighting a cigar and trying to keep them from destroying perfectly good sticks in the process. It even goes to how to pick up a cigar in the boxes if you're at a cigar shop. There's so much that goes into it. And I took the job kind of as a hobby, but I really wanted to do a good job with it. So I learned all I could, and one of the biggest things I learned is that you can't hide this information. You need to get it out to your customers. And I'm with Boris. I hope that it's just seasoning. If it's just seasoning, you'll be just fine in a couple of weeks. And I'd like to at least see your humidor when you get it all seasoned up. Howdy Sharon, howdy Paul. Great to see you both. Hopefully y'all are enjoying this fine Saturday. I guess for you it is a Saturday afternoon. Everybody, I'm sorry about all the background noise. It was pretty quiet while Raphael's show was on. Raphael, I'm going to be there. Every once in a while, my chores are going to run long and I'm going to be a little late. But I'm a sports fanatic, and not just the Raiders and the Astros. I like the Phoenix Suns for basketball. I like the Capitals for hockey. We can talk rugby. I'll go with New Zealand's team, the All Blacks. Australia for sailing. Between Australia and New Zealand, I don't think there's a better team in sailing. Man U for football, though Boris wants to boo me right now because he's a Chelsea fan. You pick a sport. I probably have a team or at least a take on it. Okay, I'm not so big on cricket, mostly because games take 3 days, and by the point that the first day is done, I'm pretty much over a single sporting event. I mean, we could talk checkers and chess and any other sports you want to talk about. Darts. Not that I know enough people that play darts to converse other than, oh yeah, that was a good shot. Every once in a while, I'll catch something or other on ESPN, and I'll be watching it, and they'll just be showing like somebody doing a 9-dart run out, and well, I know enough about darts that 9 darts in a run out is pretty damn good. I think I've done it once, but that was a beer league. We could talk billiards. We could talk all kinds of different things. Seriously. I love sports. Pick a sport. I probably got some kind. Boxing, fighting, UFC, UFC, IFC, it doesn't matter. Give me anything. Love sports. I love sports more than I love beer. I love sports more than I love bourbon. I love sports more than I love cigars. I love Holly more than I love sports. So there are a few things I love more than sports, but you gotta kind of have to look for it pretty hard. Bill Taylor's good, yeah. I've seen a few games with him. I've heard of Snakebite Right, but Gary Anderson doesn't ring a bell, which would be interesting for me because I grew up around some people named Anderson, so that name would have stuck in my head if I had heard it. That's not to say they're not out there, just saying that I haven't heard it. Raphael, you take care, and hopefully your family is doing well. We definitely want to see you and Lady Fire happy and healthy and able to live your lives as you want to without having the extra issues that are going on. Know that we're thinking about you, and some of us are even praying for you. Those that pray, I have seen that they are. And give Anit a hug for us. Let her know we're thinking about her too. Oh yeah, now snooker is definitely a good game. Fencing, I like the sport of fencing. I don't know anybody specifically enough to say, hey, this person is good at fencing or not. But the combat sports, fencing, absolutely. Now, do I know enough about fencing to be able to tell you this is a repoussé, this is what this is, and this is how to get this point? I don't. But it's fascinating because it's fast-paced, and you're stuck on a little bitty damn piece of carpet that's not even as wide as my sidewalk, nor is it even as long as my sidewalk. You can't go nowhere. You have to stand right there and stab the shit out of the guy across from you. And he's probably just as fast, if not faster, than you are. Howdy, Odie. We could talk falconeering if you want to. I don't know very much about it. But it's kind of cool getting a big ass bird to land on your glove. Even better if he shows up with a rabbit. Y'all want to talk crazy sports? How about the still outdoor games where they chop logs and they do crazy things, like they take a long board, they chop a notch in a log, they jam the board in there, then they stand on that board, they chop another notch, they put another board in there, then they stand on that board, and then they really whack the top of the log off. It's the log they're standing on. You couldn't get me to do that shit if you tried. But I love watching it. It's fast-paced, and they're making these gigantic chips fly. Now, I appreciate that sport because I appreciate what it takes to sharpen an axe to that level. How about Olympic lawn mowing? Because that's what I think's going on right down the road. Sorry about the noise. I apologize. It ain't going to get no better. In fact, it's going to get worse. Mostly because I know the crew that's mowing, and they're horrible. They will literally blow all the clippings and the leaves into your flower beds. You'll be raking them out after they've already left. Yeah, I used them once. So much fun. So much fun. Howdy, Mike. Mike, the AM cream has been applied. It was applied earlier this morning. I used a pea. I don't know if it's normal for it to go on and already feel extremely dry. It could be that, well, my face is all jacked up, but it also was the fact that I shaved, and so I had some psoriasis scales sticking up this morning. But I read through the emails. I'm following the rules. The only thing I'm drinking right now is coffee, but I had my lemon water earlier this morning. Okay, so it will absorb extremely quick. Okay, cool. I was like, they said use a pea, and I used a little bit more than just a pea, and it was bone dry in seconds. It did not take all that kind of the world. Smoking Buddy Matt, howdy, sir. Oh, yeah. It's definitely the Winter Nationals. Surprisingly, it is nice and cool today. I was considering wearing a long sleeve t-shirt, thin, and actual pants. But then I looked at how hot it's going to get and said, never mind. Right. So, Mike, definitely understand about the hard water. Every third Saturday, I've got to use a pumice stone to actually scrape the hard water stains out of the toilet. Yeah, I know, that's just so much fun listening to that. While a guy's running the loudest, noisiest weed eater on the planet. I accept if y'all can't hear me and y'all leave, I understand completely. I apologize about the noise. Not my fault, is my problem. I could go in the backyard, but they're at the house right next door. And guess where they're going right after they finish the front lawn? To the backyard. That's right. So, might as well just sit here and hate it. But luckily, Mike, Houston does not have as hard a water as Midland, Odessa. The water in Midland, Odessa is so alkaline, so hard. I think I could walk across water. Oh, look. They appear to be going around the far side, except for the guy with the weed eater. Okay, skin feels a little tight, but it always does for about 2 or 3 days after I've shaved. But it feels good. It doesn't feel itchy or rashy or bumpy. There's a few whiskers that I gotta go back and trim, just because it never quite shaves correctly anymore. On the first shave it takes 2 or 3, but that's different. Mic, I use both, and it depends upon where. Such as here at the that's got to be done with an electric, because I can't get that look of, oh look, it's right there at the glasses, without doing it with some clippers. I've tried so many times with a razor of any kind, and it always ends up with this wiggle waggle ugly looking cut. So here along the sides down to about the ear is always with an electric, and then here is always with a razor of some sort. Mike, I know I should let the sideburns down a little bit. My problem is my head is just a little bit lopsided, and if I try to go with any other thing other than that glasses line, it ends up looking so uneven, even if I have done it perfectly. And it's because my head is slightly lopsided. I know that one side is longer than the other, but this side's the longer side. And my ears are not level. I want y'all to know, my ears are not level. My glasses are tweaked, bent a little bit, just to actually have them fit my face correctly, which really screws with the optometrist when the first thing I do is grab the glasses and go but I do the glasses thing for my own comfort. Like I said, because my head's lopsided, well, I've tried it by sight, but I'm so nearsighted I can barely see it once I get over to it, because I'm looking out the side of my head. And my wife tried to do it. It looked worse than if I tried to do it. But luckily this right here, that grows back in like no time at all. Okay, only use electric or only use a razor. Not one or the other, just one. Okay, I'm going to go with electric then. I'm going to go with an electric. What would be the best kind of electric? I could use a foil type, or I could use a Philips has something called a Philips One Blade that works really good. Oh God, if it takes 30 days, okay, well, how long does it take for a what, Gillette 5-blade, what do they call it now? Fusion or something like that? Well, Mike, I could answer that. The electric ones hurt less because I'm not actually scraping skin, or at least I'm not scraping as much skin. So it hurts less on the psoriasis spots, which are all the top lip and right here across the chin. You can see how it looks kind of like a 5 o'clock shadow in here. That's actually because of the psoriasis. Well, Mike, my wife likes the 5-blade ones for her legs. And because razors are expensive, I got a pile of them. And I'm not about to go out and get a certain special one just for me, with as much as I love to shave. So I'm probably just going to go with an electric. Good quality shaving soap and a brush is definitely the way to go. And when I go and get my hair done professionally, I will get a straight razor done. But that shop up there, they know what they're doing. Wash first, definitely. Apply a good shave cream, absolutely. Okay, didn't know I should allow it for 2 or 3 minutes to sit. I'm just rushing things. I enjoy looking at my face in the mirror so damn much. Hell, I almost want to not look at my face here in the screen, but I, of course, am more reading the words than I am looking at my face. Now, I know that about not using their strength. I was taught that in the Army. Of course, I did not have to shave in the Army. Quite literally, I think I had trimmed 5 whole hairs by the time I got out of the Army. From the day I joined boot camp, well, basic training, which was in between my junior and senior year in high school, 7 years later, giving me the total time in of 6.5, because they consider that other time as a half year that I did. Long story. It's called the delayed entry program. No big deal. Well, Mike, I would love to say that a shave is ever going to be pleasant, but I'm afraid that my psoriasis is always going to make a shave just a shave. Though I will say that, like I said, when I go and get my hair done professionally, I will get them to do that straight razor cut, line me up to the goatee, and the face feels wonderful. And the lady that does the best job up there, and she's always there when I go in. Of course, I always call ahead and ask what day she's working. And she trims all of this so that it actually looks right. I'm taking your word for it, Mike. I went into the Army. You want to know what they used for stuff in the Army? They didn't. That piece of hard orange looking soap, and you only got to take a shower if you had time. But you better make time. But you better have time to actually make time. Long story. And then when I came off of the Army, I floated around for a little bit, and then I started working offshore. Then I ended up in the plants here in Houston. And by the time I started thinking, hey, you should take care of your face, I was like, look at the face. It's not worth taking care of. No, Mike, you don't need to send me anything else. Trust me. I will use the Phillips One Blade. It's a real tight, close, side to side. Looks like a brush hog. If you don't know what a brush hog is, it's just a damn scythe blade to go through brush. Used many of them. It's got one on top and one on the bottom. They're super fine though, and they do a damn good job of a shave. You can use it wet or dry. So if I use that, should I still be using a good shaving soap and letting it sit on my face for a couple of minutes? And is the daily face wash also a good shaving soap? Well, see, that's what I like about the Phillips One Blade. I can use it just like a regular razor, except for it's a clipper, and it does not abrade my skin the way most of them do. Face wash is not for shaving. Okay. James, howdy, sir. Awesome. I love being in the shower with James. It makes me feel so dirty. Don't tell Betty we've been in the shower together. That might make her jealous. Oh, and in case y'all are looking at the hat, Tabac Especial is a Drew Estates brand, and it is coffee flavored. If you want to ever try a coffee flavored cigar, it would be the one I would suggest. Good quality hair conditioner works as well as a shave cream. Okay. Well, I do have shave cream. Like I said, my wife has certain razors for her shaving of legs and stuff like that, so I've got plenty of blades there if I ever wanted to use them. But I went out and I got her some real damn good stuff as far as a shaving soap, because she was always getting nicked. Her skin is thin, and since using this, she doesn't have that problem, not even half as much. So I've got some faith in it. I don't know what brand it was. It was at a place that was just for shaving and hair care products. And when I say shaving, they had straight razors, and they had the old style barber brush with the crazy coffee cup that actually has a little lump in the bottom so that it can stick above, and you can put your soap down on the lump. So you can have it hot water, brush across the soap, and it was all inside of the cup. I didn't buy one, but I should have. But yes, so there was a store up at Baybrook Mall, and they did all the stuff with shaving and stuff like that. They even had the electric razors and all the other stuff. If it had to do with trimming, cutting, or shaving, they were all over it. And the guy who sent me in actually owned his own barber shop. He says, "Yeah, I get all my stuff from there." And I was looking for Holly, so I went and I asked him what I was looking for. I don't remember. Fucking one bar lasts forever, practically. Of course, she orders more when she wants it, because she saved the package and said, well, it's good stuff, so I'll order more when I want it. I'll figure it out. I have seen a lot of this Phoenix artisan accoutrements, or however that's said or pronounced. I'll give them a look also. It might be who produces whatever. I don't know. So yes, my face does feel tight, but it feels smooth. And it doesn't feel as itchy as it normally does after I've shaved, which is a good thing. But when I first put the moisturizer, the AM moisturizer on, it had a slight burning sensation, but that's normal with any lotion I put on my face. It does not matter. I could use the best medical lotions on the planet, and I'm still going to have that slight burning sensation right off. But that's the psoriasis. It's normal for that. But that it goes away quickly, that's a good sign. James, God, you're on blood thinners. Far north as you live, I wouldn't want thinner blood. Freezes too easy. Howdy, Mark. Great to see you, sir. By the way, Mark was all about Eric Weaver yesterday, and Eric Weaver was in the room. It was pretty interesting. But I agree with Mark. If you're looking for a damn good freehand type pipe, Yeah, you probably want to check him out. Howdy, Dan. Great to see you, sir. Ah, so you got the jelly donut blood. Now I see. Right, so that's yeah. I've got a stipple stick that works pretty good, but I don't cut myself. And the reason I say that the young lady that does the best job on the straight razor that's right down the block, she doesn't cut me either. And almost always, if I go to a professional, I'm going to come home with it scratched up a little bit. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I will be looking for that. I am not brave enough to do a freehand yet. I'm, I'm, I'm still too much of an engineer at heart. Yes, sir, Mike. I certainly will. You're too damn kind. I'm going to have to figure out something I can do for you specifically. I think I know what it is, but I can't get you one before it's going to be almost useless. I'll just have to knit you a hat. That way when you do go out to the Blonde Mobile, you can at least keep some heat. Now you say no big deal, but I am... It's hard for me to not give back, and I'm not in a situation where I can just give back at present. I gotta wait for this COVID crap to finally end so that I don't have to stay here at the house. It has to do with protecting my family. Oh, I'm going to smile. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be shocked that I got anything at all. As we all pretty much know, I'm kind of an asshole. And proud of it. In fact, there's a comedian out there that made a song about it. Some of you have heard it. And for any of y'all who want to look it up, it's called the Asshole Song. Dingus, you probably could have walked it to Mike's house by then. Mike, if that works, shoot, I'm all for it. Boris, I would agree with you that shaving with a traditional safety razor is, for me, it's just as good. But my wife would cut herself with the traditional safety razor, where with the 5-blade, she doesn't. And that was even before we got her the better shaving cream. Well, the soap. It is a shaving cream soap, however you want to call that. I'm sorry, I'm just one of those Texas kind of guys. I would sacrifice myself, my own comfort, whatever, so that my wife has a better life. I'd do all that. I want to have a job. I want to be able to go to work. But I also don't want my wife catching COVID and ending up dead. And almost every job I have that I'm qualified for is going to require travel. So guess what I come home to? Dead people. Can't do that. AZ Hawk, you're definitely right. There is a big rabbit hole there. It's adjustable. When it gets there, let you know. You will see it. I guarantee you will see it, because I will open it live. Some way, shape, or form. If that means I have to wait a day, I will. But that's just so I can make sure you see it. Oh, no, I would never share my razor with anybody, not even Holly. Nuh-uh. No, if it's mine, it's mine. Ah, Steph says she's got a migraine and won't be going live, so we're going to finish out a cigar. How about that? We got plenty of time. Oh, yeah, she can make 6 or 7 shaves out of a set of razors. I get 2. This stuff is like wire. It does not grow fast, but what grows is mighty strong. Steph, you get to feeling better, sweetie. Know that we're thinking about you. Be safe. And if you do feel up to it, try to get out into some of this nice cool weather that's out right now. I understand if you turn this off already because you're trying not to have the sound, especially of the lawn mowing crew. Five to 7 shaves? I'll give them 8. Why not? I'm just saying, like the Gillette 5-blade ones, if I use it twice, done. Because this right here clogs it up and dulls them out so bad that by the time I'm on shave 3 with those, it's pulling more than it is cutting. Classic safety blades. I can handle that, not a problem. I missed something that Dingus said. Oh, okay, yes. Mr. Hawk does have several videos on the subject. Granted, Mike, I realize, yes, it does clog because there's 5 blades. Dad, the only way I could imagine that they are made is with crap steel. But it's what Holly likes, so that's what's been purchased already. Oh, tobacco pipes. See, I haven't been to tobacco pipes for a while. Hell, I haven't looked at any of the tobacco or pipe things for about 3 months now. Mike, you have a great day. Thank you, brother. I love you. You take care. And no shoveling snow. Go hire a teenager. Watch them slide and slip and slam into the ground. Get it on video. You can make some money. It's so nice when they move farther down the road. I can still hear them. Hopefully you can't. Okay. I didn't know that Sutliff bought tobacco pipes, but okay. That's cool. Tropical part of Canada. Yeah, yeah. If you see snow every year, the word tropical does not apply. Houston, if we see snow, we have a problem. A great big huge problem, because they'll shut the whole city down. These fools can't drive in the snow, and we don't have equipment to handle it. And I say these fools because I've actually been in parts of the country where snow is plentiful. And what I mean by plentiful is Buffalo, New York. Snow is plentiful in Buffalo, New York. By Thanksgiving, there is enough snow on the ground that it is dangerous to be out. Yeah. Caribou, Maine. It was cold enough in Caribou, Maine while I was there that I watched a guy do this, and all of the whiskers on this side of his face shattered. It was cold enough that it had literally crystallized his beard and mustache. Minneapolis, St. Paul. They understand some cold up there. Oh, Dad, you don't gotta tell me. I helped my friend who lives there, and actually, let's not say Buffalo, but let's say Tonawanda. Literally where Niagara Falls is. So they get falls effect snow. Not only is it buffalo snow, but it's heavier on top of that. I don't think I've ever worked so hard in my life. Have a good one, James. We will see you hopefully soon. Be careful. You'd think, oh yeah, snow's no problem. It doesn't weigh nothing. When you're talking about 1.5 feet that fell overnight and you're just trying to shovel sidewalks and driveways, and it's already 6 foot tall in the yard, and it's only Thanksgiving. It's like, what in the hell? Yeah, AZ, I can see that happening. You got to put it on the inside, under all the layers. And if you're like me and a really, really tropically based person, you know, I'm a Texas boy. Pretty much grew up here. Sure, I was born in California, but I don't remember it. Probably the best thing my parents ever did was get out the Navy and move back to Texas. My mom wasn't in the Navy. But as a Navy wife, she was in the Navy. You know how that. I mean, anybody who's been in the military understands how that works. You either stay at home where you're at and wait for them to come back, or you move with them. And when you're in the Navy, my mom was on the East Coast and the West Coast. Also, by rare, slim chance, I was not born in Seattle. That would have made me a Seahawks fan. Oh God, perish the thought. Sorry, James. You'll catch that later. My sister was born in Chicago because as my dad was deployed to Vietnam, my mom moved back to Kenosha, Wisconsin with her family. From Kenosha, it's not really all that long of a drive down to Chicago. Oh yeah, the tropical part of Finland. That's that part where Santa Claus is your southern neighbor. We know, Boris, we know. How you live in that level of cold and that level of dark That's why Boris doesn't sleep well. It's because whether it's dark or light, he's going to get up anyways. There is only one time in my entire recollection where Houston was as cold as Finland. And I sat right out here making sure that I was out in the wind so that I could really feel it. And I smoked a big old pipe, and Boris hung out with me. And he was probably in a wife beater and shorts. And there I was, unbelievably cold. Everything hurt. And I was wearing layers upon layers upon layers of clothes. By the way, for those of you who don't know, if you're a warm, relatively arid person, and you only get a heavy coat, the heavy coat is good for, I am going from my house to the car, and then I'm going from the car into where I work. But if you're actually going to be out in it, layers upon layers upon layers. But I learned this a long time ago from my mom. My mom did grow up in Wisconsin. They understood snow and cold and ice and all of that. You can put on another layer and you can put on another layer, and as it gets warmer or you're doing more, you can take off a few layers, and it's a whole lot easier to regulate than it is to get one single coat on or off and try to still regulate. Yeah, Boris, it was 16 Fahrenheit here. It probably was colder there, but I think you were just trying to make me feel good, saying, hey, it's the same temperature here. I was cold. It was cold. It might have touched 15 degrees, but I can't guarantee that. But I ran us off at the mouth, and I said I would go out in the coldest part of the day. And I did. And it was painful. But I did it. Yeah, Dan, there is that. If you have to suddenly go, you better be quick about shedding some layers, or you will be shatting some layers. Sunny afternoon. Sure, it was sunny afternoon. In a place that didn't have sunshine more than about 10 seconds of the day. I believe you, Boris. I believe you. Now, it was February, mid-February, so what, y'all had a couple of hours. February is always the coldest month in Houston. Not that it's cold, just that it's the coldest. I mean, when you consider that it's hovering somewhere near 100 degrees from the end of May until normally pretty close to November. "50 degrees is coldest." Howdy, Mike. How's it going, sir? Yeah. AZ, that is definitely the truth. Anybody who wants to think that that doesn't happen, but then there's the other side of that, where anybody who goes from living in a primarily warm climate and then they move up to some place where it stays cold like that for a long period of time, your body will eventually become acclimatized to the cold, and you'll be able to handle those cold weathers. But then you move back to where it's warm and you're like, oh God, hell no, it's literally the surface of the sun out there. I'm not going out in that crap. Oh, you get about 8 hours in February. Okay. And yes, Boris, it was definitely in February. Absolutely 100% positive it was in February. And I think it was the 11th or 12th of February. And if you say you got about 8 hours of sunshine, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I have literally been near Finland once in my entire life, and that was near. I didn't actually make it to Finland. We had a small little snafu with a flight, and we ended up having to go into Norway. We touched down long enough to switch onto a different plane, and away we went. Next stop, Iceland. And it was in the summer. Yeah, they're trying to, they're snowbirding. They are escaping the snow. Oh, okay, so, yeah. Y'all get some pretty good sun there. 6.5, 7 hours. Yeah, I know. A warm and sunny afternoon in Finland. Their warmest and sunniest afternoon in Finland, and I'm still going. Not true, I know. Y'all get up to 80 and 85 degrees, which I'm out there loving it. And Finlanders are going, oh God, it's hot. And then at night when it falls off to 60, I'm going to... And the Finlanders are going, man, this is great. Yeah. It all has to do with what you're acclimatized to. If I had to live in Canada, I mean, I could do it. it would just take me a couple of years before my body really became acclimatized to that level of cold. In the meantime, I would walk around like Stay Puft, the Marshmallow Man. Have every stitch of clothes I could possibly get on. Dan, I'm betting it actually is fairly humid. Uh, Anytime you're near a large body of water, even if it's not really warm enough to be super humid, as it goes across, it's going to pick up a large level of humidity, which is the reason why across from Chicago, if you go across Lake Michigan from Chicago and you get over towards Michigan, they get a lot of snow on what they call the west coast of Michigan, because it comes across that lake, and after it hits land, it'll start dumping right there. Oh, very cool. Well, I mean, I know that it's a gradual thing. I think the first sunlight that comes down in some of the more northerly parts of Norway and Finland, y'all get like, what, 5 minutes or so of it as it just creeps over the edge of the earth there. So it's like, yeah, 5 minutes later it's sunset again. But then in summer, y'all got the complete other side of that, where the sun just never sets. It creeps down towards the horizon and never quite sets, and then it comes right back up. I've experienced that out in Alaska. Actually, I've experienced both out in Alaska. Both the never-ending night and the sunlight that just won't damn well go away. One was for the Army. The other one was because I worked offshore. Right. Very few places on the planet have a higher humidity level than the Gulf Coast of America. That's not to say that they don't have more rain in other places. There are other places that have more rain, but their average daily intake of humidity tends to be lower. There's a weird technological term for meteorology. The only reason I know most of this at all is because way back when I was a kid, I got a little confused and thought, oh yeah, meteorology, let's get into that. That's like study of meteors and in space and stuff like that, right? No, that's astrology and astronomy. So I learned about the weather. I thought that was just where you had to start. Finally, someone explained it to me, and I was like, damn it. I didn't want to know about this. I wanted to know about space. Oh, Seattle, yeah, they get a ton of rain. Seattle is lucky if they have 100 days a year without rain. That's a lot of gray weather. Consequently, suicide rates are pretty damn high in the Seattle area. Houston's about 50-50. 50% rain, 50% bright and sunshiny. I mean, right now, today, beautiful weather, bright, sunshiny, blue skies, nice weather. I think everybody would enjoy the weather that I'm having right now. But the humidity is actually about 85%. Take the good with the bad. But 85% humidity in this weather, it's lovely. It's great. Oh yeah, just south of Seattle is great big huge rainforests. In fact, that whole vampire series that everybody was on about for a while, that was all rainforest area. And that stretches all the way down along the coast into California. So Washington, Oregon, and I think that's Oregon. Yeah, Oregon. And the northern small chunk of California is all rainforests. If it wasn't for the rainforest effect, California wouldn't have those sequoias because of how much water they actually require just to stay even alive. Big ass trees. You think of the tallest tree you've ever seen. And until you've seen one of those sequoias, you haven't seen a tall tree. I have seen them. Some of them are big enough that you could drive a car through, because they literally cut a hole in the tree to put a road through it. I believe that road has been rerouted so that that tree could die of natural causes and not fall on traffic when it decides it's finally going to let go. And I saw pictures from back when my grandfather ran out to do some logging out in California. This was way back. Black and white photos were all you could get back then. My grandfather was only about 5'8". But he was standing up in front of a cross section of the tree that had fallen, or that they had cut and had fallen over. And he wasn't even 1/3 of the length across just the cut face. Maybe a quarter. And on the back it was written, one of the small trees. What? Then I saw them for myself and I was like, geez, these things are huge. It's amazing the places you can go to when you're working inside the government one way or the other. As an electrician, I worked inside the post office. We got to go all over the damn planet. Any place that had a United States Postals. So, yeah, Philippines, Guam, out there to Japan, Puerto Rico, all kind of nice places. Probably the best job I ever had. Of course, I wouldn't have had that job if I hadn't have been in the Army and I'd already been inoculated against anthrax. That was... all those places that the post office could identify as having spores of anthrax, yeah, I had to go in there and install machinery and do some cleanup. Yeah, so much fun. But they would laugh about my security clearances. Cat wants out. If I don't let him out when he scratches at the door and he knows I'm out here, he'll eventually pee on the door. Yeah, Dan, that's the other kind of anthrax, though. I've had a few of their songs in my library of music. Because I would get, like, what is it, soundtracks, yes, movie soundtracks, the albums that were movie soundtracks. I would get those so I could listen to different music from different bands without having to have, like, just one CD that I'd wear out. And no, I never had any vinyl at all. I never had it because I never had any place to put it. By the time I got old enough that I actually had a place to put it, I could store 80 times the amount of CDs as I could with vinyl. And I already had all the things to work with CDs. And cars never had a location where you could hook up a record player. So I still have yet to buy my first vinyl album of anything at all. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person on the planet that can say that. My wife, on the other hand, wore out records. She says the first record she can remember completely destroying, wearing out was Led Zeppelin. Dan, there is definitely that. It better be a band that I absolutely love if I'm going to buy an album. But soundtracks, normally they're just taking the best of the best, or it's a song that was directly commissioned by the movie. I mean, I got some Pantera in there, and I got pretty much everything Megadeth's ever put out. Though I don't have their new one. I've got to get that one. It's okay. It's the new one. It's going to be out for a while. I was definitely into heavier metal. But for Boris's sake, I'm gonna name a ska band, NoFX. I kind of liked NoFX. They made me laugh. Their songs were crude, humorous, and that's always going to be enough for me. But yeah, for the most part, I was going to get a soundtrack over an album, because some bands I would be like, okay, 2 songs, that was it. Whole album, 2 songs. I mean, I bought the Led Zeppelin box set, and there's some of those albums that I was like, but it's Led Zeppelin. I really liked 1 through 4. But then as it progressed, it just really wasn't as appealing to me as the first couple of albums.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great, thanks. Finally fall.
Yeah. Better enjoy the 30 minutes of it that we get.
That's true, I better run. Have a good day.
You take care.
You too.
One of the neighborhood people. Her husband works for NASA. Of course, in this area, you'd be hard pressed to throw a stick and not hit somebody that worked past tense or works presently for NASA. Howdy, Martin. I gotta say, kudos to Martin for turning back on the cameras so that he could prove that he took that shot that came in last second. Because you know none of us would have believed you. He probably gave it to Katrine. By the way, Martin, go Dogs! I'm expecting them to pummel the ever-living hell out of Kentucky, but I don't think that they're going to. They might cover the, at present, 21.5 points. But when I heard earlier that it was 28 points, I don't think they're going to cover 28 points. 21.5, though, that's an interesting number. That means they can win by 3 touchdowns and still not cover. So for everybody who's expecting Steph and Skip to be on, Steph has a migraine today and is not going to be going live. And I'm just finishing off a cigar, and then I'll be out of here. I got stuff I gotta get taken care of here. The only dogs team I like better than Georgia is, of course, the Mud Dogs. Y'all remember the Water Boy? And one of the best lines ever. Only thing better than crawfish dinner? 5. H2O. Some of your messages aren't showing up for me. Uh-oh. Well, that means you're either getting wrenched or YouTube is trying to cancel you. Or YouTube is trying to cancel me. I wouldn't doubt that they're trying to cancel me. They don't like my takes on COVID. Derek wasn't able to finish that La Gloria number 5. Great but too strong. All right. Let's see about working towards a lighter stick for him. I know a stick that he would love because it's tasty, but it's just a Connecticut. The Southern Draw Rose of Sharon or the Desert Rose. They are not going to be strong, but very tasty. Very tasty. Let's see. What Smokin' Ronnie sent you? Awesome sticks. Damn. I'm a little jealous. The Padron, be careful when you cut that because that is a torpedo. So you really got to pay attention how deep you cut that. But you have a V cutter, so you have the right cut, in my opinion. The Calibre would be a little bit better, but that's just me. It has the deepest V of any of the cuts, and it's like the industry leading. But yeah, that Padron, that's an amazingly good stick. If you didn't know that before, trust me, that's going to be one of those you really have to plan out when you're going to smoke that one. That's a stick. Ooh, and I'm just remembering, I get to smoke a extremely good cigar here in the next couple of days. Because my granddaughter got born. Yay! I got to see pictures. She's cute as a button. Which means she takes after her mom. My son looks like a blonde hair version of me. Psoriasis and all. It's like, I feel bad for my boy. Nah, he's a pretty good looking kid. But that little girl is so cute. Okay, all babies are cute at that age when they're first born. Sure. And maybe there's some pseudo-parental pride there going on. I'll accept that, possibly. She sure was cute to me, though. And Lord help her boyfriends as she gets older. No, Boris, I have not actually seen my granddaughter officially yet, just in pictures. But my son lives in San Antonio. It's not that far away, but I told him, let's wait until y'all get your whole system figured out and things settled down before I come in. That way you could say, hey, she normally sleeps at 2 in the afternoon to 3 in the afternoon or whatever, and I know not to be there at that time. I don't want to stir my granddaughter up and be an asshole like that to the parents. I want them to be okay with me showing up. No, Martin, I hadn't heard yet, but I'm pretty sure that I will after I get out of here. Because I'll read through the news pretty quickly, but I always read the news a little bit. In case y'all didn't know, I read the news. But I read from several different sources. I don't just read and watch Fox News. I mean, I also watch some CNN. That way I can get a take from both sides of the fence. That way I can say, okay, well, yeah. Now, look. Here's the thing about comedians, and if anybody doesn't like my take on comedians, y'all don't have to like it. It's fine. Comedians make their money telling jokes. And a joke that's funny now might be completely indecent 20 years from now. I mean, go back and look at, hell, half the comedians that put out a special 20 years ago, and imagine that special coming out now. That ain't going to happen. Eddie Murphy would get canceled nowadays. Y'all remember his joke about gay guys being up on the roof going, woo, 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 woo? Think about that being told now. That dude would be run out of town. Oh, Boris, I'm not that kind of grandfather. I'm not the one that's going to be getting the noisy toys to annoy the parents. And I'm not going to be doing the hop them up on sugar and caffeine and, you know, shake the baby and hand them back. No. I'm going to try to be that grandparent that makes the grandchild have so much fun that she loves having me around, but she sleeps like a rock when she gets home because she's wore out. And if they have a boy at some point in time, it'll be him too. My son was a relatively good kid. I don't think I should be punishing him for being a good kid. All right. The cigar started changing flavors, so I'm putting it away. And we've been here for almost 2 hours. Unfortunately, that means I'm about to get out of here my own self. But I got stuff I gotta do here around the house too. So Raphael, if you're back in and listening, y'all take care. Hope everything's going well with your family. Father-in-law would try to sneak caffeine to my daughter when she was a baby. Dan, it would be your right. That's the parental thing. Martin, if you are able to keep your cigars somewhere near 70%, then no. They should be exactly ready to smoke as soon as you pull it out of the humidor. Unlike pipe tobacco, where you would let it dry out a little bit and wait until it starts having that little bit of a crispy texture. With cigars, if you're keeping them right, they're ready to light. Not a problem. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Boris. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Mike. Goodness. Not a problem, Martin. I'm okay with being, hey, you asshole, whatever. You're not going to hurt me by calling me somebody else's name. You might offend them, but it won't be offending me. Steph, if you're still here listening in, I hope you're feeling better. Skip, take care of that wife. And to everybody who's been here, I know that there's been some that were just lurking. Y'all all have a great day. Take care, be well. Take care of yourselves and each other. Do the best you can with that. As per always, remember, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I will see you soon. Remember, a lot of shows tonight. Check out the Briar Report for all of them, and there's a bunch of shows tomorrow too. Hope to see y'all at a few of them. Talk to y'all soon, well, sooner or later. Bye for now.